Um, so they want these criminals. They keep trying to give these criminals these right or whatnot, and it's not going to work for them because I didn't change the speech. I didn't speak it in its entirety opposite. I spoke it opposite around its locking. So the so this is the best. So you look at this tie from width at the start, it's thin. At the bottom, it's fat. So you would think I would speak it this way, but the law says if you spoke it that way, you would have never have spoken it at all. So you take the center, you tie a knot in it. Now you see it, and you see it has a knot at the center. You know it's a tie. From the top, it's thin. At the bottom, it's fat. In the center, there's a knot. So if I take it this way, you'd see the knot. You'd be able to hold it and say, hey, it's a tie. So in order to factor the investment, you have to untie the knot and then speak what you invested backwards all the way back to its initiation. So the so anyways, so because of such, you see the blatant crime. Someone stole my car. It's a fact I was a victim. It's a fact that they refused to listen to the law. In refusing to listen to the law, the car was destroyed. That's a fact. That means I'm at a loss to no fault. So it's covered. So the criminal naturally tries saying that it's not covered. And they try committing a crime and try talking to these kings or queens in representation of what they claim as that of no rights and representation. So, though these child molesters were killed without court, in England, the court process is there. You see a parliament. You see the Masons. You see the Templars. Though they're judges, those are called judges in England. In England, a Mason is a judge. In England, a Templar is a judge. In England, there's one group is man, one group is woman. They're the law system in England. Yeah, don't even start with America. So so you know the queen is a woman, so you know the law would be on her side. So with the tie there, the criminal goes to commit a crime, says it's all his, and that's how the law is supposed to be practiced. That this guy is an outcast or no one, and he gets nothing. And therefore, the process of law separates itself, and their fight against each other are shown. So, where the Templars give force to the law, the Templar is seeing with his hand behind the child molester, forcing them to the death penalty with no objection, because the criminal is refusing to acknowledge that the law has a whole part, that they're employees and they're obligated to a task, and that the action of themselves don't fall into the task, or does fall into the task, or whatnot. Same with America. And so they executed them all. So recently a woman said, well, a little girl said, well, he wasn't a child molester. And she's like, I was jumping up and down. Yeah. So the victim's fund, as with insurance says only thing non-insurable will be the fact. The only things that you can write down on a guideline is things to determine a fact. So the law says, say we're not allowed to have teddy bears in the car. That was the fact. A fact having a teddy bear in the car. The law would say you're only allowed to write stipulations that say you're not allowed to have thread, you're not allowed to have cotton, you're not allowed to have cloth, and you're not allowed to have the intentions of weaving them together. The law says you're only allowed to write down the notices of the fact. The fact is, if it's a personal automobile, you're not allowed to use it for employment purposes. So you're only allowed, in opening an insurance company, you're only allowed to actually write down stipulations of the fact. So the fact would be whatever employments there are. Then the law doesn't give, when you open an insurance company, the law doesn't give the choice of how insurance is paid out. The law says even if you stipulated on the facts, the fact can't change and you can't manipulate the fact. Which is what they're trying to do. They're trying to say that I bought the car for the fact that's not insured, which is what the criminal is trying to do. That's why it spoke opposite and tied. So they'll go off, commit murder, they'll commit larceny. In some instances, a business person inside their actual office will go postal, they call it, and kill everybody in the office. So the reason the speech isn't part of the law is because they're committing a crime. The people, the speakers, the speeches, the people that can speak will actually speak to prevent that. Not only will they speak to prevent that, they will speak to notice themselves at the implementations of the force. At the implementations of the force, they'll claim corporate gathering, and they'll dominate the environment with business or corporate discussion. Which is another reason why it's spoken downward and inward. So you think of a donut, and then you fold it and form a donut or something. So as I roll the sock, it's all here, but you got this firmness here now, and it's a ring, where the rest go. It's a tube. It should have one outlet. It shouldn't have, and whatnot. So the law says you speak it that way. So that way, um, they can't do that corporate shit and prevent the law, and the criminal can't run to the corporate outlets as with religion. Same with religion in America. So when they went off to kill these cops, I went over there and say, hey, you owe me money. That's this speech is a hindrance of the law. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm not saying that you didn't do good. I'm just saying that I'm in a civil case, and the guy you killed could have been the guy that owed me money. And yeah, so it's not like China was the only one. I mean, Canada showed up. Yeah. So when Canada showed up, whoever else was there was like, "Oh no, you're not allowed to take part. You don't know what the fuck that is." I don't know. Huh? So they ended up dying. Horrible. So whatever.